You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javanokelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Greetings, beautiful people. Thank you for joining me for another amazing episode of the African Father in America podcast. I hope you are all doing great. I am live streaming here on YouTube, on X. Twitter is now called X, and we are also live on AMP. AMP is an amazing app that is owned by Amazon, and we can listen to some music over there. But I'm really excited to be back here broadcasting again for the African Father in America podcast. I hope you've all been doing great. I hope you've been taking care of yourself. I have not broadcasted since May. I took a long break in order for me to focus on the production of the Madaraka Festival. I would love to know who amongst those of you who are watching was able to attend any of the Madaraka Festival tours that we did across the US. The Madaraka Festival was headlined by Sauti Sol, and we had King Kaka, we had Dre's, we had Anthony Cole, we had the One Vibe Band. We had amazing DJs, from DJ Poison Ivy to a lot of other upcoming DJs from all over the motherland and all over the African diaspora. So I hope really you're ready for today's show. We have an amazing proverb as usual with the African Father in America podcast every single day with every single episode. Our hope is to share some ancestral wisdom, and so through today's proverb, I have 3 nuggets of wisdom that I hope you can take away. But the proverb itself is from Egypt. The proverb is from Egypt, and it says that follow the holy man no further than his threshold. Follow the holy man no further than his threshold. For those who are watching on YouTube, I just want you to take a minute and subscribe to the channel. I am going to share this proverb here with you just quickly to give you an idea of the proverb that we are talking about, so that you can have a clean, nice visual of this proverb that we are talking about, especially if you are watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, formerly Twitter, and also LinkedIn. We are also live on LinkedIn. So if you're watching the show on any of those platforms, thank you so much. Again, the proverb says, follow the holy man no further than his threshold. What does this Egyptian proverb bring to your mind? I would love for you to share with us. As I was saying earlier, with every episode of the African Father in America podcast, the hope is that we can start our day grounded in who we are, grounded in African ancestral wisdom. And that's why I chose to begin the shows here. This is the 3rd year of the African Father in America podcast, and with every episode we have always brought a thought-provoking proverb that would allow you, our listeners and our viewers, to think about what this proverb could mean. But I have 3 nuggets of wisdom that I want to share with you in relation to this incredible Egyptian proverb. The first nugget of wisdom that I have here says that it is important to respect and learn from those who have wisdom and knowledge, regardless of how well advanced you might be in terms of age, in terms of education, in terms of your status as a human being. It's important to pay attention to those who have wisdom. That's very important. Then number 2, However, even though it's important to listen to those who have wisdom, it's also very, very important. This is the second nugget of wisdom. It's very, very important to not follow these people blindly. Always, blind obedience is not always advisable. Blind obedience is not always advisable. And it's important that we exercise our own judgment. Currently we are living in a time where you really don't know the kind of information that you're consuming on social media, through all the social media outlets that we have access to. There's so much information coming at us. And what this proverb is asking us to do is that we take a minute and sift through what we are receiving and choose what it is that our own judgment and our own wisdom is enabling us to go forward with. Even if you have someone who is wise in your family, in your life, in your community, even if you're seeing a therapist for your own mental well-being, or for your own relationship, or for your own career, it's important that you have your own judgment. You know yourself, and then from there you can move on. And then finally, we have our final nugget of wisdom, and it says that we should always be critical thinkers and not blindly follow others. This basically exactly what I said earlier. We have to exercise some form of independent thinking. We have to exercise our own, critical thinking, but we also have to do our own research. We have to take a minute, listen to podcasts like the African Father in America podcast to gain some wisdom. We have to, go on YouTube, find other kinds of content that can enable you to gain some wisdom in order for you to face your day with, in order for you to face your life with. It's really, really critical that we exercise critical thinking. I want to thank everybody who has just joined us for today's episode of the African Father in America podcast. I was just sharing a beautiful clip, a beautiful image of the proverb for today. I would love to know where you are joining me from. So share in the comments, which part of the world you're joining the African Father in America podcast from. I'm really excited to be back here. Today, I am actually live on AMP. AMP is an amazing, it's an amazing app on, it's an amazing app owned by Amazon. And, Amazon has been one of the biggest sponsors of the African Father in America podcast, but particularly Madaraka Festival. Amazon has been a huge supporter of Madaraka Festival. This is the second year in a row. So I love using their products. And this one is particularly interesting for me because it enables you to play unlimited music while you are on AMP. So check it out when you have a moment, and join me over there every morning during the African Father in America podcast. We will also be live on AMP. You can download it if you have an iPhone. I think it's even available for for Android users as well. Anyhow, thank you again for taking your time, whether it's evening where you are or early morning where you are. It's 6:10 a.m. here in Seattle, Washington, where I am broadcasting from. And I just want to thank you again for joining me and for supporting the African Father in America podcast. Today is going to be a short and quick episode, but some of the things that I am planning over the next few weeks is that I am going to be interviewing a lot of the previous artists from the Madaraka Festival. So check out www.madarakafestival.com and check out the website, learn about how this year's festival was, and also last year's festival, and just expect to see a lot of artists who have been associated with Madaraka Festival before, but also artists who are potentially going to be on the Madaraka Festival lineup in the future. So I'll be talking a lot about Madaraka Festival here on the African Father in America podcast, because I'm an artist myself, but I'm the founder of the Madaraka Festival, and part of my job is to, continue spreading the word about it. And also, I want to bring your attention to the Africa Business Forum. Africa Business Forum is happening on September 30th at the Motif Hotel in Seattle, Washington, and it's organized by the African Chamber of Commerce of the Pacific Northwest. This is an amazing organization that was founded by Peter Gishuru, who is an elder and an astute businessman here in Seattle, Washington. He's actually one of the very, very first Africans to ever move to the Pacific Northwest. So go to Eventbrite and get your ticket for the 23rd Annual Africa Day Business Forum. I'll be there myself on September 30th. Thank you again for taking a minute to join me. Remember that today's proverb is from Egypt, and I want to know in the comments, I want to know your own perspective down below in the comments. Let me know what today's proverb means to you. It says, follow the holy man no further than his threshold. Don't just follow the wise ones, the politicians, the teachers, the parents, the influencers. Don't just follow them blindly. Think for yourself, judge for yourself, and make decisions that you can stand by. Don't just follow people blindly. That's what this proverb is telling us. I also want you to tell me if you are at Madaraka Festival this year. I would love to know. Share with me in the comments. Again, thank you to those who have joined me on AMP and on YouTube and on Twitter. I deeply appreciate the support. I'll be back here tomorrow exactly at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'll be doing the same Monday to Friday. I took a long break and I really needed it. When you are the founder of a big festival like Madaraka Festival, and with the kind of growth that we saw this year, it was just critical that I also take care of myself. I take care of family. I traveled, actually. I went to Kenya for almost 3 weeks. That was really beautiful. And then when I came back to Seattle after the tour, the Madaraka Festival tour started in early May. The first show was in Atlanta on May 21st, and the last show was in Washington, D.C. on June 4th. And then on June 23rd, I left for Kenya. I actually went to London for 3 days, actually 4 days, visited with my eldest sister over there and her family. And then eventually we made our way to Kenya. We did a safari. We visited with family in Kisumu. We spent some time in Nairobi. And so if you want to stay abreast with some of the adventures that I had in Kenya, you can check out my Instagram at Okello Javan. That's where you can see some of the reels that will give you more information about how my trip was. But also, if you want to join me sometime in the future, or if you want to learn more about how you can also make it back to the motherland, I can help you with that. So just send me a DM or comment down below if you want more information or travel packages to the motherland. So I deeply appreciate that. And again, I'll see you tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on AMP. And I'll also be live on Instagram. I'll be live on LinkedIn. I'll be live on on Twitter. So just take good care of yourselves. If you're joining me for the first time, this is the African Father in America podcast. I have been broadcasting this show. This is the third year, and I really, really value African culture. It helps me ground myself in who I am when I share African proverbs. I remember from a very young age, my mother used African proverbs to guide us, to show us the way, but also to warn us, to compliment us. And so I felt that as I am now a father myself, here in Seattle where I live, I have 3 daughters. It's really important for me to share these nuggets of wisdom with people. And in the process, my daughter also daughters get an opportunity to learn and ask questions and stay curious. So that's really my motivation for sharing these beautiful African proverbs with each episode. Going forward, you'll be seeing me on my own during the show, but also you'll be seeing a lot of guests. If you want to be a guest on the show, let me know in the comments down below. If you're watching it on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or X, which is formerly Twitter. And then if you're listening on AMP, you can send me a message in the chat, but also just use the link on my bio on AMP, and you'll be able to catch me on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and just leave a comment on today's video so that I can know who you are and stay connected with you, but also bring you on to the show, because one of my favorite things to do is to have guests on the show. Life is incomplete without guests. So again, I see that there's quite a few of you who have joined me today. Take a moment, type there where you're joining me from, and I'll be able to respond later on. But for now, I have to wrap up the show, and I deeply, deeply appreciate your time and your continued support. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and take great care of yourselves. Peace and love.
African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle.